All right, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so I'm going to talk to you about how my company got started, how I ended up here. It's kind of one of those roads that do not go in a straight line. It's one of those winding paths. It's kind of a funny story and kind of befitting us because we do things in the humor space. Our goal is to make people laugh for a few moments every day. That's the mission statement of the company. And so that's the Doge meme. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. No? Maybe? Okay. So I'll just get started with the story. This works. No? There you go. So the story here is how we got started without a mission, without even actually knowing what we're getting ourselves into. While this is the mission statement of my company, when we actually got started, it was just me, myself, and my dog sitting at home, just trying to figure out how do we make enough revenue to continue to do business. And I had quit a job to actually get there, and so it was really interesting to go from making a six-figure salary to my living room in my pajamas. And it's the second time I had done that. The first time I'd done that didn't work out so well. So I was really trying to make sure that we did not repeat the same mistake again. And so we kept costs low and we did all that stuff. And so the overriding fear and the mission statement of the business was just stay alive, right? That's just stay alive, make enough revenue to go fight another day. But what happened was that our users started telling us what they loved about us. Our users started telling us about why they came to our sites. And it became a much bigger thing than just words on a wall or some kind of marketing message about the business. It became this mission. It became this purpose for the company that we built. And so this one has a lot of meaning to us. And I'm going to tell you about. There you go. Okay. So you guys already know this stuff. I'll skip that. And this you might not know. So this is a really good photo, right? Usually people don't have photos like this. This is a promo shot from our Bravo reality TV show. So Bravo, which is a US-based cable network, very well known for reality shows where people throw water in each other's face. They put a show on the air about my company. And in fact, it was kind of strange because we didn't go to them and say, hi, we'd like to be reality TV stars. Right? We actually went to them and said, hi, we have all these properties like I Can Ask Cheezburger, Meme Base, Veil Blog, and we'd love to make a show with you about the content that we work with. Right? About internet culture, about memes, how remixing culture is such a dominant force in the life of millennials today. And then they came back and said, you guys are weird. You guys spend all your time on your laptops making people laugh and posting cat photos and weird stuff. Your work must be crazy. And we're like, are you serious? We literally just sit at the office on our laptops. Like, if you come and film in our office, we're just gonna be a bunch of people doing this. And so, despite that warning, they came and actually made a show. So this is actually the shot from our one season of reality stardom that we had. And in fact, it wasn't the first time that's actually happened to us. So there's an award in the United States called Webbies, and they call it like the Oscars of the internet. And by posting funny things on the internet, we've won 7 of those. And it's something that we're really kind of proud of, but at the same time, kind of not sure how we ended up here. We've also published books from our site. We ended up selling 2 New York Times best-selling books. And the crazy thing about these books is that you'd have to go into the store and buy them, yet all they did was contain photos from the site you could get for free. Right? And so what's really been interesting to learn is that business works in very mysterious ways. That if you actually create a product that people love, sometimes it seems to defy logic, right? Just like the chart that you saw before. How the hell is Korea number 2 on revenues on the Play download store? Like, what, every Korean is spending 50% of their income downloading Miley Cyrus songs? I don't understand. But that's the kind of thing that you don't learn until you try to actually build a business and a market for yourself. So Cheezburger got started kind of in a strange way. So this is a photo that one of our users found in a thrift store in Seattle. And it says here, my laser pointer works, what's delaying my dinner? It's a cat photo with a caption on it. And what that really qualifies this as, it qualifies it as an image macro, an image with a caption on it, which you see on the internet all the time. But this one happened to be a little trivia or like a postcard that we made back in 1905, right? If you think about 1905, people had just learned how to actually take photos, right? Popular photography, meaning that people like you and me, the average person, could go out and buy a camera as early as something like 1895. So within 10 years of essentially the first human beings being able to commercially purchase cameras, somebody was putting captions on cat photos. You think this internet thing happened recently? This has been going on for a very, very long time. And so I Can As Cheezburger, our site that started January 11, 2007 by 2 people in Hawaii. And what's interesting about this is that they didn't write this caption, they just found this photo. The girlfriend had IM'd it to her boyfriend, and the boyfriend decided to make actually a shrine to this photo because he thought it was really, really funny. And so you can see the misspelling. I Can Has Cheezburger, the Z with no third E. It was just kind of this random website name. If anybody you talked about marketing on the internet advised you on how to build a name of a website, this is not on that list. Right? You do not want to misspell a name like this with that long of a name. And it doesn't even follow the conventions of how people would misspell it. Like if you wanted to do it, it'd be Cheezburger with with C-H-E-Z-E because that's how you spell cheese with an S. Right, so it was everything wrong that could possibly be done wrong. Right? And what happened was he posted the photo, but instead he made this really interesting singular change to that platform. Instead of just posting a photo on a website, he'd just show you the photo, he installed WordPress. And installing WordPress was literally one click. Like, if you ever set up a web server with a blog and you wanted to host it yourself, WordPress comes pretty much in a standard package. And so instead of just going, I'm just going to post this one photo, he thought, maybe there will be more. Right? And so he installed WordPress, and all of a sudden he told his friends, and a few of them told a bunch of other people, and the whole virality thing happened. Out of the blue, millions of people started visiting this website. And he doesn't really know how it occurred. There was no marketing involved, that nobody paid for anything. He didn't post it to Dig or Reddit. None of that stuff occurred. People just started showing up. And then they started emailing him more photos. And so when I bought the site in September of 2007, this was the only site that we had, and all we were doing is posting cat photos. My job in my PJs is to wake up in the morning, open Gmail, and download hundreds of attachments. That's what I did. It wasn't even automated at all. And so it was pretty crazy because people were trying to open Photoshop and add captions and do all this hard work. For what? It's not like there was Facebook and you could like get credit for what you're doing. I mean, there was, but nobody was really using it at the time. And so people were just emailing these photos to me just to make a bunch of other people that they don't know laugh. And there was something really beautiful about that human beings are willing to express their sense of humor. People want to actually share their ideas, share what's funny, and we get a very, very deep, intrinsic reward out of knowing that we made something creative. And so we actually started continuing to build a company. So a few months after I bought I Can As Cheezburger, I bought this other site called Failblog. Now, I started this company in September of 2007. I don't know if you guys remember, but that's when the recession started. And so I had just quit my 6-figure job to go work and post cat photos on the internet. And I remember my old CEO telling my peers, when he heard what I was doing, he said, I give him 6 months before he's back. And when I heard that, I said, you know what? Screw that guy. I am never coming back. I'm going to figure out how to make this work. So much of entrepreneurship is about defying the odds. And the best thing about defying the odds in this way is that you have no idea how badly the odds are stacked against you. If you think about September of 2007, starting a company whose sole job is to post other people's photos that they email to you on your website to make a living off of advertising dollars, probably not a sane business plan, I would imagine. But even at this point, Cheezburger was actually making enough money to be profitable. And that was the crazy part. We kept our overhead low, we kept costs down, and we were so nimble that even with a small office, we had moved out of my house at the time, with a couple of people working for us, we were able to actually turn a profit. And then I bought this site called FailBlog, which was all about this idea of people screwing up, right? And enjoying the mistakes of other people, right? I think there's a German word called Schadenfreude. In other words, we were laughing at each other, and this doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Why would somebody send you content where people can laugh at you? But yet again, people surprise you. There's a book that FailBlog put out of some of the best stuff that they got, and in the process, in order to actually publish the book, you have to actually contact the people who sent you this information. And so what's really fascinating about them sending you their photos and giving you the rights to use them is, essentially what they're saying is, I have been an idiot, and you are free to publish that information. And I've actually met these people in parties and things like that in real life, and they're so happy that the thing that happened to them that made them look kind of crazy or stupid actually was used to make other people laugh. And it's pretty fun to watch. And so as the website grew, the number of websites grew, we actually had a name that wasn't even I Can Ask Cheezburger or Cheezburger. We had a very crappy company name. It was called Pet Holdings Inc. And the reason we had a shitty company name was that I was actually working a job when we were incorporating a company, so I couldn't make it to the meeting with our lawyers while we were incorporating, and this was done in such a hurry that the lawyers were like, what's the name of the company? We can't reach Ben. Let's just come up with something. So when the lawyers come up with a name for your company, you end up with Pet Holdings. So eventually, when we added a bunch of more sites, we actually changed the company name. We adopted probably potentially the worst part of I Can Ask Cheezburger, which is the cheeseburger part with a misspelling like that, exactly. And we became this company called Cheezburger. And so since then, we've added lots more sites to our portfolios. In fact, we've built our own content management platform. We've actually been able to transition the technology, and at any given point, there's 50 plus, 60 plus websites in our system, and we're constantly juggling. We're constantly trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. So the world that we live in today has changed significantly because of the content that we deal with. Every single relationship online is built through content. So if you think about social media today, how do you actually get to know someone? How do you actually build a relationship with someone? Because you can't meet them face to face, you can't shake their hands, you can't talk to them. Or maybe you can, but every time you actually interact with somebody, what you're doing is sending them a link, sending them a photo, showing them something that you've created. Every single online relationship is based on the idea that I'm giving you a piece of content that represents something about me that also should entertain you in one way, shape, or another. And what we've done is that we don't make content like they used to in Hollywood. There's no narrative arc to content anymore. What happened was that the internet and its brevity and its kind of attention deficit disorderness, right, has created a context-related punchline. So we replaced the story arc with everything that we know about the world, and we assume that you and I know the same things in common, so I can just give you the punchline. So I'll give you an example. Still a better love story than Twilight. Okay? Now, not a lot of Twilight fans here? Okay. So, if you laugh at this, if you understand this, you need to know at least three things. You and I actually have to know three things in common for you to actually appreciate this image. One, there's a movie called Twilight. Two, people love to hate on the movie Twilight. And three, there's a movie in which Tom Hanks has a love affair with a volleyball. Right? Like, if you don't know those three things, this doesn't make any sense. And so when I post this, what I'm saying is, do you get that? Then we have something in common. You and I understand each other. If you break down the nature of the types of content that we post on the internet for each other, this is constantly what we're doing. Let me tell you something about me and entertain you at the same time, because we share the same world and the same social context that we live in. I've actually taken this approach and helped start another company. This is actually based in San Francisco. Cheezburger is based in Seattle. Circa, which is a mobile news app, was launched about 2 years ago. And right now it's on its, about to release its third iteration. And it's one of the most critically acclaimed mobile news apps out there. And in fact, we took a lot of the thinking and learning that I learned at Cheezburger and applied it here. And the idea is that if you're going to create a brand new platform, a device platform, like phones or tablets or maybe even an Oculus Rift, new formats of content must be created in order to actually take advantage of those brand new devices. You can't just take what worked on television and put it on your Oculus Rift. The content formats just won't take advantage of the technology, because the technology changes people's behavior. So all of you, when you use your phones, your smartphones, I ask this question and people kind of get stumped. What did you guys do before smartphones when you were waiting in line for coffee?
Before smartphones.
You just stare at the back of people's heads. So if you think about the amount of time that is actually being created for you to do something other than stare at the back of people's heads, what we're doing is we're using them to download apps, games. The market for all this stuff didn't really exist. We're not cannibalizing an existing market. We're actually creating brand new ones. And that's the venture capital opportunity here, is that we're changing and taking advantage of new human behavior that creates a brand new opportunity for people who've never had it before. And so my fear when I left my company was that it says here lies Menha, he could have a good career to post funny pictures on the internet and went broke. This was my number one fear. When I started my first company back in 2000, I have a real knack for starting companies when recessions start. So when I started that one, it didn't go so well. In 18 months, I folded a company, I went broke, I had $40,000 of debt that I had to go pay off, but this time I really wanted to make it different. And life really is full of surprises. And if you are a first-time entrepreneur and things aren't going well, the answer here is to be a second-time entrepreneur and maybe things will go better. It is not a time for you to quit. It is time for you to pivot, restart. Because the amount of money that you spent creating your first company, even if it didn't work, was a remarkable amount of education. The first company that I started raised about $500,000. We went belly up, and I consider that my $500,000 MBA. So, like I said before, half of entrepreneurship is not knowing what's impossible, defying the odds because you have no idea what the odds are against you. The other half is certainly good luck. A lot of us has to do with do businesses that ended up at the right time and maybe it didn't, so it doesn't work out. But some of us end up with great investors because we happen to meet them. I mean, I forgot the gentleman's name, went to Parsons, who came to San Francisco and kind of started feeling around to see if there's something that he could do with his team. Like that kind of serendipity that ends up, you meeting with Paul Graham, that happens all the time. But you must be optimistic in order to find good luck. And I'm not saying this because I feel philosophically that's true. Studies have shown over and over again that human beings who are optimistic find more opportunities than people who are pessimistic. So if you pride yourself on being a realist, you're somewhere in the middle, I think. But if you pride yourself on being an optimist, you're gonna find more luck in your favor. And so this is a lot of luck too. We ended up meeting one of our existing now board members and venture capitalists at a conference down in LA, literally for like 3 minutes. A friend just introduced us. We weren't looking for money. We were profitable, so it's not like we're looking for venture capital. And we met for 3 minutes, and it turned out that he was friends with another VC in Seattle who wanted to invest in Cheezburger. And so they ended up coming together and actually making an offer. And Brad Feld, who's the one of the managing directors at Foundry Group, is a very well-known venture capitalist here. And Greg Gottesman, who's our partner in Seattle, is the one that made the connection, and both of them sit on my board. And because we were profitable, we were able to get the VCs that we wanted to get. We've had plenty of investment offers before that because we were profitable, we didn't need it, so we said no. But when we met the right people, we felt like we actually could take advantage of the fact that these are great investors who have long-term vision, and we could all work together. And so we raised $42 million, and now I'm in the process of teaching my startup, which is now 7 years old, how to be a mobile company. The world of entertainment has moved from desktop web to mobile. It's not that the desktop web entertainment will go away. There will certainly be opportunities there. But the biggest growth market is happening in mobile. Because as we all know, every single person born from here on out, their first computing experience and their primary computing experiences are going to be on mobile devices. And what that tells me is that when you go from desktop to mobile, things feel constrained. You feel like you really can't do much on a small screen and without a key. It's really limiting, right? If you want to be opportunistic, if you want to be positive, if you want to find luck, you have to look at those constraints as something that is actually going to help you. Creativity does not come from an absence of constraint. Constraint is the catalyst that frees us from our own restraints about what we can and cannot do. Necessity is the mother of invention, is the same logic. That in order for us to actually create, we must figure out what is wrong, what is broken, what limits us, and figure out a way to hack through that. That's pretty much all I have. Thank you very much. I'm here to answer any questions for you.